And to shed more light on the importance of this tour by the Prime Minister, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Ahmad Ellithy, Nassif, International Economic Development Expert. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
So, sir, how do the Prime Minister's visits to inspect private sector projects throughout the Republic reflect the state's interests in the private sector, and also the importance of today's tour in Bani Suef?
I think there is more. We need to read more than what is being seen, or the very simple conclusion from a visit like this one. I think there is a supplemental message that the Prime Minister is sending to Egypt, or not actually to Egypt, sending to the whole world. And it says a few things, actually. Number one, there is a genuine interest from the government to transfer the investment from the government-owned enterprises to the private sector. And there is a full support given that the top administrator, His Excellency the Prime Minister, is actually paying a visit to some of the private sector projects. A government or a country that does not support the private sector, you will not find the Prime Minister visiting private sector factories. So he's sending a very clear message that Egypt is open for business. And we, as a government, and the direction, or the economic direction of the government, is in full support of the investment of the private sector. This is number one. Number two, the two key strategies that we all know, but actually before the President Sisi comes to power, we were a little bit short on the execution on these two strategies. The first one of them is reinforcing the industry and the agriculture production in Egypt. And these are the key two factors that we need to support the Egyptian economy. And now we are again sending the message loud and clear to everybody across the globe that the government is in full support of this direction. So I think the visit today had a lot of messages, if you want, being sent about the direction of the government, about what they support, and the roadmap for the next coming period, if you want.
So, sir, the Premier said that the state is working on promoting the local industry as well as localization of various industries in line with the underway economic reform measures carried out in different sectors. So, what is the importance of promoting the local industry in serving the goals of economic reforms?
Well, one of the key issues that we have in the total economy of Egypt is the dependence on importation.
Yes.
Especially for advanced industry like, electronics and what have you. And today, him visiting one of the largest factories actually in Africa and the Middle East for electronic and white goods, it sends again a message to the entire global economic community that Egypt is a good place that works well for such industry. We're not just a simplistic industrial place or country or market. We can actually engage in quite advanced technologies. And the proof is in the pudding. You can see it, and you see the Prime Minister going and visiting, and that's the best confirmation you can have for such things.
So, sir, what facilities does the state provide to encourage investors in the private sector?
There is a lot of facilities and simplification. It is true that we had some red tape and some bureaucracy in the past, but I think with the focus of President Sisi on prioritizing and simplifying all the industrial projects or the licenses, the golden permits, and so many different actions that were taken by the current administration to incentivize the private industry to come up and open and set up business in Egypt. And I think also the other thing that Egypt provides for many of these governments, many people actually do not remember this, but this has a very high impact on when a company comes and wants to send shop in Egypt is that Egypt is a member of the COMESA and a member of the Arab League of Nations joint trade agreement, which means that by being in Egypt or setting up a factory in Egypt, you have privileged conditions to supply 22 Arab countries with some 350 million consumers and about 45 African countries. And that's a huge advantage. I don't think that any other country on the planet can provide any investor with such an advantage.
So, sir, how do you see the results of issuing the gold license?
I think it will be these sorts of things, we call them slow burners. So you will never see it overnight. It is, definitely a very important step in the right direction. We will not see it, on a snap on a finger. This is not instant coffee. It will yield dividends, and it will provide and encourage a lot of investors to come and set up business in Egypt, but it's not going to happen immediately. This is the nature of the beast. You come in, and it will be gradual. Again, as the expression slow burner suggests, it will grow, but slowly, not very fast.
So, sir, there is also an interest in small micro enterprises. What facilities are provided for this type of projects?
There is a whole program that is being set for SMEs, small and medium enterprises in Egypt. And I think, again, there is a lot of economies that grew up with similar structure like Egypt. So we have India is the world leader in small and micro financing and small and micro and medium enterprises. And we have Indonesia and several other actually countries in the Far East that have built their economies on this sort of structure. But I think also today in the visit of the Prime Minister, he sent a very clear message that, as we take care and we have special financing and there is like a whole program for financing the small and micro enterprises, I think also the Prime Minister is saying and sending a message that it's not only about microfinancing, but also we are interested to support large companies, and the visit that he conducted today was the proof of that.
Yes. So, sir, the Rise Up Summit is currently being held in Egypt at the Grand Egyptian Museum. What is the importance of this summit as it seeks to discuss solutions to challenges facing startups, and also the importance of the museum's choice to set up the summit in it?
I think, first of all, the dialogue is always the right way to go. When we have such meetings, we understand what are the needs and what we can do to and provide to support that sort of business. And it's a new business model that is just coming. It's a newly born business model, and we're learning as a government, as enterprises, and we understand the needs of such new startups because they are different from the established companies. We need to understand their needs from a tax, from a regulatory point of view, from whatever. It's a totally different ball game altogether that we need to learn. So what it shows? It shows, one, the interest, because if you are not interested to support such structure of business, we wouldn't have had that summit here. And two, it's always a very positive sign because then we have a dialogue, and the dialogue that will build a lot of learnings on both sides, what we can provide, so people know what are the opportunities that Egypt has, and at the same time what the sort of business require or need, and we will try to provide them with that need. So I think it's a very positive step in the right direction, and it's a learning for both sides.
So, sir, and which industries are currently supported by the state?
I think I'm not aware of any industry that the state does not support. So I think the state supports all sorts of industries as long as it is legal, lawful, and it provides opportunities of job opportunities for the Egyptian youth. I think the Egyptian government will support all sorts of industries in that direction.
Yes. So finally, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Ahmad Ellithy, Nassif International Economic Expert. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And